Hello, people. Um, I really want to talk about. I really want to talk about. You know, these YouTubers that have been exposing, like all these. I'm just going to say it anyway. I just don't really care. Like they talk about the cancel pigs and the woke people. You know how they're destroying all their movies they once loved and everything else, destroying all these things and everything else. And I do want to talk about the woke crowd too. And the thing is, um, in a way, I'm not really taking any sides on this because on the both sides, right? When you do look at it, they're just bickering. Um, More or less, what I'm trying to explain, and I, I can try in my own like I'll try to explain it in the best ability I can explain it. Um, the people who have been exposing these woke people, right? Like, in a way, you're actually giving them fuel on the fire, chucking wood on the fire and gasoline on the fire. And the thing is, right, they need to stop talking about it. You know, I think if you stop talking about all this stuff, right, like, I think they will stop doing what they're doing. Like, I'm not talking about the woke crowd. I'm talking about Hollywood in general. Um, the woke Hollywood, what we know today. Um, it's like when you do look at it, like it's. I'm learning the phrase from what Morgan Freeman said. You know, if you stop talking about it, you know everything will just disappear. Um, and I find that pretty basically true in its own nature of speaking. You know, to my knowledge, you can make racism don't exist if you don't talk about it because that's what Morgan Freeman was trying to say in that interview with that dude. I don't want a Black History Month and all that stuff. And he says, "How are you going to stop racism, then?" And he said, "Stop talking about it." And this is what these people on YouTube are like complaining about Star Wars, complaining about this and complaining about that. I'm I'm not on the side with the woke people. I'm more on the side of the people telling the truth. But when you do look at it in a way, right, they're just chucking fuel on the fire. Like, and the more they do that, the more they do that, you know, the more they're going to keep doing what they're doing. And if you, and not just that too, um, what about just talk about something, in the bygone days of the comic book times, back in the old days of the comic book industry? What about talk about them days? How them comic books were great and everything else, and talk about like old comic book movies. Stop talking about all this shit movies and all the time, and stop talking about all these woke games. Talk about the old games and play them ones. Talk about them. When you do hear it a lot, it's just so negative. Like if they just stop talking about it, I think it would blow away. And I think Hollywood would stop doing what they're doing and everything else. They know when we talk about it and we get angry about it, right, when you do see it in my way, they're basically winning. Like, because the people who are exposing these people, they're the ones that are getting angry about this, right? How their franchises are getting all destroyed, and like the franchise I used, like Star Wars and all them and everything else. When you do look at it, when people get angry, that means you're putting fuel basically on the fire for these woke people to just keep doing what they're doing. The only one way we can win this is to stop talking about it. Just like talk about the stuff in the past. We all know it's all wrecked now. People just don't go and see Marvel or DC movies and Star Wars movies, like all, especially Indiana Jones and everything else. Um, that's the thing is, like, we all know Lucasfilm is wrecked. Every movie is wrecked. Especially, they wrecked J.R. Tolkien's, you know, fantasy story, putting all their woke agenda of politics in it. You know? And if we just, like, took a step back, and just talk about the good days. If we just talk about the good days, I bet you any money something would. It's like it's an old saying. It's always a silver lining, you know. And you got all these people. These two sides are bickering and complaining. I'm more a bit on the side with the people who are telling the truth, but they need to stop talking about this and just talk about good stuff. Talk about like Pirates of the Caribbean, like the old Pirates of the Caribbean. Talk about like animes, like Ghibli Studios anime. Like talk about old anime cartoons from the old Disney, like Renaissance days, in the bygone days, and everything else. Like they were good. They were good movies, like in the '90s and the '80s. Like talk about them ones. Talk about Ghibli's movies, like Hayao Miyazaki's movies, or talk about Dragon Ball, Inuyasha, and the old Transformers shows, and like them things. Talk about old stuff. You don't need to. You don't need to. It's like more or less what I'm trying to say. Stop pressuring yourselves. Stop giving yourselves. Because when you talk negative, you're practically, in a way, you're practically hurting your body. In a way, like this is why I don't support it. I don't support Hollywood no more. I kind of like just don't really care going to see a Marvel movie no more. I don't care seeing a DC movie. I don't care to see a Star Wars movie. I don't care about all these movies. All I care about is the old stuff now. I don't care about the fucking new shit. And that's the thing is, you need to stop complaining about this new shit and start talking about the old stuff. The stuff was good. You need to stop talking about it because you're practically giving them fuel on the fire. And if you stop talking about it, like what Morgan Freeman said about racism and everything else, it does actually connect in the same thing. If you stop talking about it, they will die down. And you don't need to talk about it because you got people on press. You know, like you got some good press. I'm not saying all the press are all bad. Like you got people who speak the truth in press, and you got mostly the whole variety of the press just speak bullshit and mumbo jumbo and bullshit. Let them do the job, and your job is to kind of like bring us back to the nostalgic age, of the bygone days of these great movies we once watched, and especially the movies I used to watch when I was a wee kid in the '90s. Like I used to watch Ninja Turtles, all them movies. They were movie gold and magic. Talk about them. Stop wasting your breath on these shitty fucking movies. Start talking about all this. Start talking about the old stuff. Stop talking about this new shit. It's vaguely depressing. I know you're speaking the truth and I know you mean well, but the more you complain about these movies, the more you're throwing fuel on the fucking fire. You already got people who are doing it you know, that you're doing it for you. Some good press are doing it for you. And you just wasting your breath speaking about depressing bullshit where you should be talking about old stuff. Like, talk about Jaws, how that was a good movie. Talk about, like, all the old Steven Spielberg movies and, like, all these movies George Lucas made with him, too. And especially Star Wars, too. Talk about like, Peter Jackson's movies he made in the past. You know? Stop wasting your breath talking about negativity and start talking about positivity. And I'm talking about all these YouTubers have been exposing this. Because really, to my knowledge, I just don't really want to watch these videos no more. They're just really chaotic. And it's making me depressed in a way, just to hear it. It's like, when you watch something and hear something, it actually... I'm going to get really into tinfoil hat stuff, but really, it does really make a lot more sense. It affects with the vibration in yourself and your moods and everything else. If you talk about all this woke, cancel pig shit, and even I can tell when they're talking about it, they are routed up and depressed. They need to start talking about the good old days, not this new age shit. The new age shit is shit. You know that. Stop acting stupid. The old stuff is the stuff what we need to talk about. You know? Who cares about all this new shit? We all know Star Wars is dead. We all know fucking Indiana Jones is dead. We all know about all these franchises are all dead. Especially the Marvel and DC. They're all fucking dead. Disney's dead. Who cares? Like, I don't even fucking care about it. No more. Hollywood's dead to me. I don't care about Hollywood. I don't even vaguely care about Hollywood. I know Hollywood made mostly all these movies. That was the good old days of Hollywood, and that's what we should be talking about, not about this new fucking bullshit you people are talking about. Talk about the old stuff. The old stuff, like the stuff right behind me. Talk about old stuff. You don't need to waste your good energy on talking about this cancel pigs and these fucking woke bullshit. It's bullshit. It's completely bullshit. And every time you talk about it, and I can sense it, I can sense people's attentions and their vibes. They don't really got good vibes when they talk about the truth about all this. They need to stop talking about it and stop throwing fuel on the fire. And when they do that, these people, you know, yeah, I'm just going to leave it as that. I don't got that much time. I'll probably do a part 2 video tomorrow when I wake up. Learn from this. Learn from this. You know, who cares about all this shit? See ya, goodbye, and God bless.